After 3 on Power Drive, 0861-987-000 is the power line. I'm with Minister of Public Works, Minister Nathi Nhleko, talking about the built space and failure to pay contractors on time, which is really undermining socioeconomic development and hampering and hindering, one would say, the transformation agenda. Thabo Indrivonia, good afternoon.
Thabo, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome.
All right, thank you. A quick one. Mr. Minister, I, for whatever reason, I just think we are on autopilot. I'll tell you why. You are telling us of the commitment, but I'll tell you my case without really going into detail. We had an issue with public work in terms of payments or settlement, and then we agreed on arbitration. We went to arbitration, but the department refused to pay their portion of the arbitrator. The reason why they do that is because the decision will not be released, so they would not be liable. But now, my thing is, if they agree on arbitration and don't pay the arbitrator, it means part of it is to make sure that there's no payment. I just think if in one hand the government says they want to help black companies, and in one hand they don't pay you for 2-3 years, those things are really direct opposite of each other, because people go out of business, their properties get taken away from them because of that. They will never do that to the Marine Roberts of this world.
Thabo Indrivonia, thank you so much. Ketani in Centurion, welcome.
Good afternoon. I do concur on Thabo's case, Honorable Minister as well. My question particularly here is on the CIDB grading situation. It's quite a great initiative in terms of trying to create control measures on that. But what I don't really find very fair is that you then find a grading CIDB 5 being participated by big boys at grading 7, 8, and 9. While as much as I'm competent and capable, I'm then not allowed to go play at the 7 GB grading, which fine if you're trying to control those measures. But why then allow the big high school boys to come play in primary school while I cannot go play in high school?
I see. Ketani, appreciate that question. Budani in Rosebank.
Hi, Thabo and the Minister.
Go ahead.
I heard Minister saying that they've got monitoring systems in place. But if those monitoring systems are working, Minister, I'm sure they should point you to some problems. You should know by now what are holding up this payment.
Yeah.
Like the two gentlemen that have mentioned. And then to say these are the actions that we need to take to resolve those problems. But now, if you seem to be guessing, not sure as to what are the critical problems, I'm sure it will take you forever or your systems are not giving you effective information for you to act on.
Butana, thank you so much. In Rosebank. Minister, let's get into those dispute payments like Thabo's one. I mean, it's taking long. There is a sense from Thabo that you are not paying the arbitration because you don't want to give him the payment.
Look, for starters, I think he and I don't disagree about anything. We're emphasizing exactly the same point. Now, I wouldn't know the details of his case, for an example, and I do not want to generalize, because it is possible, for an example, that you could have a dispute that arises because of some tax-related issues. I'm just making an example. You could also have a dispute that arises during the point of payment, as and when you begin to discover that the scope is agreed upon from a contractual arrangement and relationship point of view, there are issues there or whatever. It could be a number of different reasons.
Yeah.
Now, what I don't agree with is a situation where somebody stands up and says, I've not been paid for an X amount of time, for an example, and there are no reasons that have been advanced to me as to why payment has not been made. I don't.
And that's the problem, because where Thabo is sitting, I have not been paid for 2 years, and Minister comes on the radio and says, no, we are doing well. 80% of the time we do pay on time. He says, but that is not my lived reality. I am in a dispute currently with the department, and I am not getting paid. He's not the only one. Even the KZN Contractors Forum, it's a forum of contractors. They brought you in and they said it's unacceptable that we have to wait for over 2 years to be paid.
Yes, I agree with that. And that's why I'm saying we have got to look, much more deeper into these particular cases. Why is it that we have people that claim that they have not been paid for 2 years and even 5 years for that matter? There was one case like that in the Durban Forum when one interacted with them and so on.
Yeah.
Now, and I think with regards to your last caller, it's not possible to have a similar set of reasons as to why payments are not done, because one case differs from one particular sort of context to another. It really depends on what the issues are.
Let's talk about Ketane's grading system.
But the point here that really one is making an emphasis on is the question of our commitment, and that we need to be firmly committed on this question of paying on time within the 30-day period and so on, and resolving whatever in case that dispute, and also with resolving disputes on time. Because even if you do have disputes that would have arisen, it is also not correct that you should have a dispute that lasts for over a year, dragging out there and so on, because it's to the benefit of absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
So we also do think that it is also a performance management kind of issue, which we also do need to look at in terms of how do we make sure that we enforce compliance around these particular issues.
The issue of the grading system, Thabo says the top guys can come to the lower guys, but the lower guys can't go up.
Look, the CIDB board, I'm aware that they have worked out the whole question of transformation and a transformation strategy and so forth. And in a matter of weeks, really, they will be in a position to interact with the public around this issue. Because wherever you go, you pick up a number of issues relating to some policy issues as well as some transformation issues within CIDB, in the construction industry and so forth. Amongst others is this issue of grading and downgrading, and so it goes. And we will make the necessary announcements, in time when it comes to what is it that's being done on that particular front.
Yeah. Minister, I guess the pace at which these issues are monitored and addressed is a big concern. And we're also not getting a sense from you right now in terms of what is it practically that is going to be done by the officials. You've made the announcement to say, no, pay on time. It's been in law that they must pay on time. Right? It's been said over and over, but they are not. So we're not getting a sense as what is it practically that you're going to do to get them to pay on time.
There is one practical measure, for an example, that we are looking at. It's also a matter on by which you can also gauge the extent of performance of a given individual, for instance, in that particular space when it comes to issues of financial management. And we do think that one way of dealing with it is to ensure that we also put those measures in place to deal with issues of individual performance, so that if you say, for an example, similarly, let me just make an example. I suppose the finance manager in the private sector in a company that makes profit is measured on the basis of, how much a profit that particular entity makes, for an example. In the public sector or in the public service context, it should be that a good finance manager should also be measured on the basis in which he or she is able to facilitate issues of service delivery, amongst other things. And this question of a direct contribution in so far as issues of small business development and issues of transformation and issues of a broader radical economic transformation kind of matters should also be part of.
Oh, I think we lost the minister there as he was wrapping up. But I guess you get the gist of it. Individual holding individuals to account on what is it that they are doing in terms of their KPIs. Just now after 3:30 with the latest headlines, here's Nhlanhla Sehume.
Thanks, Thabo. Good afternoon. In news making headlines. Police union SAPU has announced that it will resume its strike at the 10111 call centers with immediate effect after it was temporarily suspended. It's understood the union wants police to increase their salary level by 2 notches, an estimated increase of 50,000 rand per annum. In other news, Sibanye Gold says it could cut up to 7,400 jobs as a means to address continued unprofitability at its gold assets in the country. Beatrick West Mine in the Free State and 3 Cook Shafts in Gauteng will be the most affected. Now, the company is consulting unions and other stakeholders at its gold mines to find ways to mitigate the number of jobs that could be cut. And ANC Treasurer General Zweli Mkhize says complaints of policy uncertainty are too general and people should focus on particular sectors when regulations are fluid. Unresolved policy issues have been cited by a number of investors and business leaders as one of their top concerns.